Our next lesson in the Geography Unit for Social Studies aid requires us to learn basic mapping skills. Those skills, of course, include the use of a compass rose, a map legend, map symbols, and a gazetteer. Now, here's some more learning outcomes. Now, before we can get to that, we actually need to know what a map is. And a map is a representation of a real area. All it is at a smaller scale. Now, there's different ways of doing this. Not one map can show everything because there'd be way too much information on there. So the first type of map that I'm going to show you anyway is a climate map. Climate maps can also show precipitation, and if you don't know what precipitation is, it's rain or snow. Now, colors are used to show the different climate or precipitation zones. Now, this example here, it is showing annual temperature. And if you take a look at this legend here, these two blues here indicate -40 to -50. And those blues, you can see this red pin that are in this general area here. So it's pretty cold, as we know, because we live in that area of North America. Warmer areas are these orangey browns, and of course that would be closer to the equator down in this area here. So that's climate maps. Economic or resource maps, basically what they do is show certain resources. So for instance, forestry or agriculture of various source. Now I highlight oranges here, but it could be anything: pears, wine grapes, wheat, grain. This map here is actually showing us gold deposits. And if you take a look at the legend here, the bigger the circle, the more gold deposits that are there. Now, if we take a look at the actual map of Canada, we have three areas that show some nice gold deposits. Of course, Quebec, Ontario, and in this area here, pretty much most of BC, there's pockets of gold deposits. So someone can get rich. Now, physical maps is another type, and basically they show things such as, oops, I thought that was a highlighter, mountains, rivers, and lakes. Blue, of course, is water. Green is for lower elevations, such as close to the sea level. And then, of course, orange and brown indicate higher elevations like mountaintops. Someplace like Mount Everest, the top is quite very high, of course the highest mountain or not highest area in the world, and its cap would be white. In fact, if you take a look at this map here, this white here indicates that. So that's physical maps. The next type of map is a political map. We're familiar with this because every time we open up an atlas, this is what we're looking at. Political maps show boundaries, provincial or national. In the States, it would show state lines, and it would also, of course, show the border between Canada and Mexico. It also shows cities. Capital cities are indicated usually with a star and within a circle to highlight it a little bit more, because it is a more important city. So that's political maps. Road maps is probably the thing that we're most familiar with, in that we use it most. Our parents would use those when we go on vacations to figure out where we're going. Road maps use most transportation links: airports, railway tracks, of course, roads. And if you take a look at this map here, of course, you should recognize it. It is downtown Kamloops. And that's road maps. Another type of map is a topographical map. We're actually going to do quite a bit of work on this next day. But basically, contour maps have these contour lines. And it's hard to see here, but there's very light, kind of light gray lines. And they have a number attached to them. That number indicates how high from sea level that particular spot is. If the lines are really close together, that is a steep terrain. And of course, if they're farther apart, that's a flatter terrain. Again, we'll be doing quite a bit of work with this next day. Okay, so those are the types of maps. Now, what features must a map have, or all maps have? Well, let's use this eyeglass to see. Well, each part of the map should be labeled. Each map should have a title. Each map should have a legend and a key. And the maps that we just saw, most of them did. Symbols, color-coded. Now I'm just going to move this down here. If I was in the classroom, I wouldn't have to do that. Scale, and of course a compass rose. Now we're going to go through these parts because this is the main thing in the geography unit that you need to know. You need to know these features and that you know how to use them. Okay, let's start off with a compass. Well, a compass, here's some examples. Now there is a compass worksheet on your desk. We're going to fill that in. But before we do that, I want you to copy down these couple sentences. And the reason for that is that there's two vocabulary words, cardinal and intermediate direction. You need to know that cardinal directions are, let me see here, are either north, south, east, or west. Any other direction is intermediate. So get that copied down. You may have to pause the video to do so. All right, moving on. Of course, here's compass, and here's just a memory device. I'm sure you can think of other memory devices. The one that I actually like, because north and south I find are fairly easy. It's the east and west that mess me up. I just do we, west being on the left and east being on the right. Okay, so let's fill in this diagram. Give it a second to load here. Okay. Now I'm going to go fairly quickly just because I'm on a video, but basically in class what we would have done is put these in the appropriate spot and hope to get a check mark. Now these are the cardinal directions that I'm moving right now. I'm just going to move this down here so I can grab it again. And then I'll fill in the other ones. Now I know there is one that'll mark it wrong, but I do know that it's right. I just haven't corrected the program yet. Oops, there it goes. Northwest. Now, the intermediate directions, other than the ones I've just done, are not tricky really. Let's do this top one up here. What you do is you always use the cardinal direction first. So if I'm trying to identify this one right here, what I do is I go north, northwest. So you just take what's in the two directions that are in between and then put it together. This one here, let's do another north. Where's that? Oh, here. North, northeast goes there. South, southeast. South, southeast goes here. Let's do the other south. Where is it? South, southwest goes here. Oops. Go in there. There we go. Now, if I do west, southwest, that would go here. So where's west, southwest? Because west I use because it is the closest cardinal direction. Now I think this is the one that's going to tell me it's wrong, but it's actually not. There we go. Yeah, that's right. This is east, southeast, and this one is, where am I? East, southeast, and, oh, I did make a mistake. Oh, my mistake. Oh, what have I done here? There's the finished version. I just made a couple errors there, but I've got all check marks now, other than this one right here, which is going to mark me wrong because I haven't fixed it yet. Okay, moving on. This next one, if you were in class, we would have just labeled the directions, and we would have did a little bit of work the on what the provinces are. And this eyeglass here, if you just put it across, it tells us what the provinces are and also the territories. This is not an activity that you can really do with the video. I just want to show you what we are doing. Map symbols, of course, they're a representation of the world. And I'll let you read this on the side here. But basically, I'm focusing on the diagram here. Any symbols that a map uses will be in its legend. The next one, here's some more examples of map symbols. And there is if you're interested, and again, you wouldn't be doing this at home necessarily, but if you click on that, this window comes up, and if you just pay attention to the website here, you can go through this activity that National Geographic offers us. And of course, here's the map symbols worksheet that we're going to do here momentarily. Now, last but not least is the Gazetteer. The Gazetteer is kind of like a dictionary-like reference in the back, and it's broken into two parts. There's a Canada portion and there's a world portion. And the bits of information that it gives you is page number, reference, latitude, and longitude, or grid reference, latitude, and longitude. And I'll show you an example of something that's actually, this is what our atlases look like. And that is right here. So here, where's my highlighter? Here's your page number. Here's your grid reference, and we're going to work on that, not today, but another day. Here is your latitude and your longitude. Latitude always goes first, and it always has north or south. Now these examples only have north. The second number is always longitude, and it has east or west. Now most of these have east. The other thing that may be a little bit confusing is this, there's a couple numbers here. This first number is the degrees, and that number will probably suit your purposes for the most part. However, if you remember when we were doing absolute location, we were saying that it was with pinpoint accuracy that latitude and longitude could be used. Well, these second set of numbers help us with that. That is minutes. So you got 35 degrees, 48 minutes. In fact, you can have a third set of numbers that even gets it even more precise, and you could have 13 seconds. So 35 degrees, 48 minutes, 13 seconds. Just because I know once we start working in the Gazetteer, you'll be probably wondering about that. Okay, almost done. Now, we do have a Gazetteer assignment for you. We'll get working on those worksheets, and then I'll show you the answers. I think they believe they're attached to the website as well. All right, let's go.